Hello children, how are you? Fine, right. Here I am to teach you social science from the Contemporary India 1. And today I am going to teach you geography and the chapter number 1, that is India, size and location. So let's know about our country India. This chapter is divided into 4 parts. Part 1, India's location. Part 2, India's size. Part 3, India and the world. And the last but not the least, India's neighbors. Before we go to know more about the location of India, let me tell you first something about the country India. You know children, India is a vast country. And this country has been marked for its ancient civilization. One of the most ancient civilization in the world, that is none other than our Indus Valley civilization. And it has achieved multifaceted socio-economic progress during the last 5 decades in the field of agriculture, industry, technology and overall in the economic development. Coming to its contribution, India has also contributed significantly to the making of the world history, children. To locate our country India, the very first information you need to know about in which hemisphere does it lie. You know children, it lies in the northern hemisphere. Do you know children, what is the hemisphere? It is half of a sphere is called hemisphere. You know that our earth is a circle. It is a sphere. And the entire earth is marked with some imaginary circles. The very first line of the circle, that is an imaginary circle, marked at 0 degree, that is called equator. The part which lies to the north of the equator is called northern hemisphere. Whereas the part of the earth which lies to the south of equator is called southern hemisphere. So our country India lies in the northern hemisphere. The next landmark which helps us to locate our country India is its latitudinal and longitudinal extension. Our country is extended in between 8 degree 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north latitude and 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degree 25 minutes east longitude. Let me tell you about what are latitudes and what are longitudes. Latitudes are imaginary circles. Those run east to west and they remain parallel to one another and also parallel to the equator. Whereas longitudes are imaginary circles that they run from North Pole to South Pole. So this is how we come to know about how to locate our country India. Coming to the next one, how to locate our country India by the surrounding water bodies. You know children, our country is surrounded by various water bodies. To the west lies the Arabian Sea, to the east lies the Bay of Bengal, and to the south lies the Indian Ocean. Besides that, 2 of the islands, one is Andaman and Nicobar, which lies in Bay of Bengal, whereas Lakshadweep, which lies in Arabian Sea. They also help us to locate our country India. You know children, when a land gets surrounded by water in its 3 sides, then we call it to a peninsula. So India is also called to be a peninsula. The next, one of the very important landmarks which helps us to locate our country India is the Tropic of Cancer. It lies at 23.5 degrees north. And this line divides our country India into 2 halves. And the line passes through 8 of the states of our country India. And they are Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. Students, now just have a look to the globe. What is a globe? Globe is a true replica of the earth. And while looking at the globe, you could come to know about the actual position and the location of the places. Besides that, you could also come to know about where is your equator, so also Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn and many other latitudes. It not only shows the latitudes, it also shows many of the longitudes. Do you know children how many longitudes are marked on a globe? there are 360 longitudes. In the same time, there are 180-degree latitudes are marked on the globe. Let me ask you a few questions, children. Can anyone tell which is the southernmost point of India? Can anyone tell me which is the northernmost point of India? Let me answer. The northernmost point lies in Indrakol, that is the extreme north of Kashmir, and it lies very close to Afghanistan. Whereas the southernmost point lies in Indira Point, which is in Andaman and Nicobar Island. You know, children, in the tsunami that occurred in the year 2004, due to the tsunami, the entire Indira Point is now under water. It is submerged. Only very little portion, the lighthouse has been standing over there. Coming to the easternmost point of our country, India, it lies in Arunachal Pradesh. Whereas the westernmost point of India lies in Gujarat. When we take the India as a mainland, the mainland of India, the southernmost point will be Cape Comorin, or we call it to Kanyakumari. So students, don't forget all the 4 points that also help us to look at our country. That is the northernmost point, southernmost point, easternmost point, so also the westernmost point of our country, India. So here we come to the end of the first unit of this chapter, that is location. Let's move and find out the second unit of this chapter, that is the size of our country, that is India. You know, children, what rank does our country get in its size? It is the 7th largest country in the world. The question arises, if India is the 7th largest country, who are the 6 larger countries than India? Coming to the top of the top, number 1 is Russia. Second one is Canada. Third biggest country is the USA. And the fourth one is China. Now, the question arises how to remember the first 4 countries. Let me give you a clue how to remember these countries. Let us take the very first alphabet of each of the countries. Russia, R, Canada, C, USA, U, so also China, C. That is RCUC. Similarly, let us go for the last 3 countries. The next one comes Brazil. After that, it is your Australia. And the 7th largest country is your India. So, in the short form, we can call it to BAI, BAI. So, how to remember? It's so difficult to remember all the name of the countries. Suppose your friend will ask how to remember all the 7 largest countries. You can tell them a very simple clue that to remember RCUC, BAI. Right? RCUC, BAI. R stands for Russia, C stands for Canada, U stands for USA, C stands for China, B stands for Brazil, A stands for Australia, and I stands for India. Coming to the size of India, let us remember the very first one, how much land does it occupy? The total landmass of India has an area about 3.28 million square kilometer, which accounts 2.4% of the total geographical area of the world. Whereas water surface occupies 361.132 million square kilometer. One important point to be noted, children, 70% of the world's surface, as everybody knows, is of water, whereas 21.1% is only land. Next, coming to the land boundary, how much land does it occupy? So, if you look at the map, children, you will find out our India, its neighboring countries, along with the neighboring countries, the total land it occupies along with the northern boundary, starting from the western margin till the north and till east, the total land boundary is about 15,200 kilometer. Whereas, if you look to the coastal areas, starting from Gujarat till southern part and from south till West Bengal, the entire coastland along with the coastland of Lakshadweep Island and Andaman Nicobar Island, all put together, the total coastal land is around 7,516.6 kilometer. Such a big coastline. Due to this, our India possesses the longest coastline in the world. Now let's move to another segment of this size. When you look at the map, you'll find out, children, the great lofty Himalayas in the northern part of India, which stands like a wall in the northern part of our country. And this lofty mountain comes under a young fold mountain. Let me tell you, children, there are two kinds of mountain. One is called young fold mountain, the other one is called old mountain. The mountain which are having great height, conical peaks, those mountains are called young fold mountain. And the young fold mountains are generally, they are found in chains, so we call them ranges of mountain. On the other hand, the mountain which is single mountain, the rounded mountain, not having so much of height, those mountains are called old mountain. The difference between young mountain and old mountains are they are made up of different type of rocks. Generally, the young mountains are made out of your soft rocks and they are subjected to denudation, like weathering, denudation, erosion, all that take place in the young fold mountain. So that is why what has happened, that they got eroded. Whereas the old mountains are made up of hard and ancient rocks. So children, here I'd like to ask you a question. Can anyone tell me one of the oldest mountain on this earth? It is none other than our oldest mountain that lies in our own country, India, that is Aravalli Range. Moving to the next one, I've already told you about the latitudinal and longitudinal extension of our country, India. Now let me tell you another important part, that is how many lines of latitudes and how many lines of longitudes that they pass over our country, India. If you calculate, children, if you look at the map and you calculate, the total number of latitudes are more or less 30 degrees of latitudes. In the same time, there are 30-degree longitudes that they cross through our country called India. Let us take the case of the longitudinal extension. As I already told you, there are 30 degrees of longitude that they pass over our country. Let us find out what is the importance of longitudes over a country. As you all know, children, there are 360-degree longitude that can be marked on a globe. I have already told you what is a globe. Let me repeat it again. Globe is a true replica of the earth which shows the exact shape of the earth. So let us again concentrate about the longitudes. How does longitude help us to locate the time? There are 360-degree longitudes that mark on a globe. You know, children, when 1 degree of longitude can be crossed by the sun, it takes only 4 minutes. The sun takes 4 minutes to cross over 1 degree of longitude. When 1 degree of longitude can be crossed by 4 minutes, then 30 degree of longitude can be crossed by how much minutes? That is of 120 minutes. 120 minutes mean how much hour? It is of 2 hours. So now let me tell you, as because of this 30 degree of longitude that they pass over our country, because of the east and west extension from Gujarat till Arunachal Pradesh, the time that lags 2 hours. For example, suppose at Arunachal Pradesh, the sun will shine or the sun will rise at 6 a.m. At what time the sun will rise at Gujarat? Because Arunachal Pradesh is the easternmost part, whereas Gujarat is the westernmost part. So there will be a time gap of 2 hours. As because of time gap of 2 hours, there will be a lot of confusion, children. People cannot do their work properly. There will be a lot of confusion as because we have to, all the time we have to change our timing. So to avoid such confusion, that every country and also in India, we follow the local time of a place called Mirzapur that lies at 82.5 degrees east, that lies in the state called Uttar Pradesh. So all the people in India, they follow the local time of Mirzapur. To avoid such confusion, we all are following one time that is called Indian Standard Time. So this is how the longitudes affect the time of a place. So also the time in our country called India. Coming to the next one, the latitudinal extension. How does it affect the place called India? As if you look to the map of India, you will find out the extension of your latitudinal extension is also about 30 degrees. One thing Try to remember, children, the places which are very closer to the equator. If the places those are closer to the equator, what happens? They get direct light of the sun. They get direct rays of the sun. The places those are away from the equator, they get the slanting rays of the sun. So, because of this, the places those who are very close to the equator, there the duration of day that remains almost equal. That means 12 hours of days and 12 hours of night. Whereas the places those are away from the equator, you move towards north, away from equator, the time varies. The duration of day and night, they vary in their length. For example, if you find out during the summer, those who are in the northern hemisphere, they tilt towards the sun, you'll find out the differences. During the summertime, the days go longer, nights become shorter. And during the winter, nights become longer, days become shorter. But those people living near the equator, there is the duration of day and night almost same, 12 hours of days and 12 hours of night. This is another impact because of the size of our country. Here I would like to ask you a question. Can anyone answer? Why is 82.5 degree east is selected as the central meridian of our country? Okay, let me answer. Any of the longitude that has been taken as a central meridian for a country, it has got two reasons. Number one, it should be centrally located. The line must go through the center of the country, more or less in the center of the country. And the second important one is that number should be divisible by 7. Then we take it to be a central meridian of a country. In the same process, again I'd like to ask another question. Can you answer when it is 6 a.m. in India, that means at Mirzapur, and we all follow the local time of Mirzapur. Suppose it is 6 a.m. in India. Can you tell what should be the time of Nepal? So also the time at Pakistan. All the time they vary from one country to the other. We are half an hour ahead of Pakistan, whereas we are half an hour late to Bangladesh. So here we complete or we come to the end of your location, so also size. Let us take the third unit, that is India and the world. You know children, India is located very in a central position in between West and East Asia. Our country India is a southward extension of the Asian continent. And the trans-Indian ocean routes which connect the countries of Europe in the west and the countries of the East Asia that provide a strategic central location to India. Because of that, we people could do trade not only in the western coast, so also in the eastern coast. Coming to the western margin, that is in the Arabian Sea, it connects the West African country, so also USA and England. Whereas the eastern coast, it connects the Southeast and East Asian country. Because of our country India lies to the north of one of the biggest ocean, that is called Indian Ocean. Because of its strategic location and eminent position of our country called India, this ocean is been named after our country India, that is Indian Ocean. Next important one, our country India has contributed in the field of exchanging ideas, so also commodities, since the ancient time to the world. You know children, much before our oceanic route, people used to travel through the land routes also, and by mostly through the passes. While traveling through the passes, they have exchanged not only the commodities but also lot of ideas. The ideas that have crossed our Indian boundary to other parts are your Upanishads, Ramayana, Panchatantra, even the Indian numerals children, so also the decimal system that have reached many parts of the world. As I have mentioned about the passes through which our country, the people in the ancient time, they used to go for trading, that too through the land routes. Can anyone tell me what is a pass? Where is it located? The pass is a very narrow gap, like just a very narrow road you could say. It is found in between the mountains. So during ancient time, these people used to travel a long route through these passes to exchange commodities like spices, muslins and many more things. In ancient time, these people, they not only go for trading to sell out their product, they also brought lot of ideas and culture from different countries. If you'll find out, children, our people, when they went for trading to other countries, not only they traded some of the materials, they used to bring some of the ideas and values from culture from different countries. For example, you could see the notable Greek sculpture that are adopted in a country called India. If you watch the Taj Mahal, the dome structure in the minarets that is in Charminar, those were been adopted from your Greek sculpture. So when our people went for trading to other countries, they not only sold out their product, they brought lot of culture, lot of ideas, and that to our country called India. So here we came to know about India and its relationship with the world, like in the field of mostly trade and commerce. Coming to the last unit of this session, that is India's neighbors, like India's neighboring countries. Can anyone tell me, children, who are the neighboring countries of a country called India? Let me tell you the answers. Look into the map. Look into the map, you'll find out India in the northwest having common boundary with Pakistan and Afghanistan. Can anyone tell me the capital of Pakistan? Yes, it is Islamabad. Coming to the next one, as I already told, it is Afghanistan. Afghanistan's capital, children? Kabul. Coming to the north part of a country which sharing its boundary with its neighboring countries. Number one is China. Second one is Nepal. Third one is Bhutan. Coming to the last, in the northeastern margin, it is your Myanmar and Bangladesh. Now let's move towards the southern part of India. The southern boundary is not attached with any of the country's children. It is having one neighboring island country. Can you guess? Can you tell me the name of that country? Yes, it is Sri Lanka. And the Sri Lanka is separated from India by a narrow stretch of water. And the name of that stretch is called Park Strait. And with another water body that is called Gulf of Mannar. So these two small water bodies that they separate Sri Lanka from India. Can anyone tell me what is a strait? Let me tell you the answer. A strait is a narrow stretch of water which separates two large land masses and joins two large water bodies. Do you know, children? I-S-T-H-M-U-S. Isthmus. Isthmus is just the opposite of a strait. Isthmus is called to be a narrow strip of land which joins two large land masses and separates two large water bodies. For example, Isthmus of Suez. And the last but not the least neighbor in the southern part of India is another island, children, and name of that island is Maldives. So here these are the India's neighboring countries. Once again, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives. So here we come to the end of India's neighboring countries. So children, we have already got an idea about India, its location, its size, India and the world, and India's neighboring countries. So before we wind up, let me ask you a few questions. Can anyone tell me which is the southernmost point of India? Union. See children, India Union and mainland of India. There is a difference. When I say Indian Union, it will be Indira Point, which is already submerged. Right? Still then we count it to be the southernmost point of India. When I will ask you the question, name the southernmost point of the India mainland. The answer will be yes, Kanyakumari. The second question, which is the easternmost state of India? Arunachal Pradesh. Why is it called so, Arunachal Pradesh, children? Because it is the easternmost state of our country, and this is the state which gets the first sunlight, right? So you can call the rising point of the sun lies at Arunachal Pradesh. coming to the next question. Can anyone tell me which line of latitude that passes through our country called India? Yes, it is Tropic of Cancer. What is equator? It is an imaginary circle which makes our earth to two equal halves. When I ask you about the equator, I must ask you about what do you mean by a globe, or what is a globe? It is a replica of the earth. That's all, children. So we'll meet again in the next session, that is about physical feature of India. That's all. Take care. Stay safe.